having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. I be having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody to turn to. Everything was green light, now we got the red. Could've had somebody else choose you instead. I be having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. Everything was green light, now we got the red. Could've had somebody else chose you instead. Yeah, lately I be having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. I be having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody to turn to. Everything.
Hello. Yes, global greetings, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Topiks here on Real Entertainment Network. We're a bit late this evening because we had a very exclusive and interesting edition of Real Talk Corner. It's been a while that Real Talk Corner hasn't been, up and running like this. But yeah, I guess in the not too distant future, we will be hearing a little bit more from Real Talk Corner and a little bit more from Reese and Ira and the others on the Real Entertainment Network. So we're going to get started this evening. Want to say good evening, Oli. Want to say good evening, Layamiga. That's Nevis and St. Kitts. Want to say good evening to the rest of the entire Eastern Caribbean. It doesn't matter where you are listening to us at this point. If you are in Russia, China, Switzerland, Afghanistan, Pakistan, it doesn't matter where you are. It's a pleasure having you locked in with us, and we want to encourage you to hop on over to our YouTube platform and sign up and subscribe, like and share the Real Entertainment Network platform. This evening we have, as usual, my other host, Ras Bankie Shabazz King, and we will allow him to introduce himself, and then we will get into some of the issues that we have for you this evening. So let's get ready. Call a friend, tell a friend to log in, and we're gonna put the numbers up so that you can call in, and or if you feel like, just make your comment or comments on the platform, or you post your questions and so on, and we will be able to respond to your comments accordingly. So, Ras Bankie, global greetings, King. Your mic on mute, Bankie.
Yeah, sorry about that. Greetings and greetings to the viewing and listening audience. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in on this another Tuesday for the topics. Very interesting. I mean, a lot of different topics going on, but everybody have their say and the different views. So greatly appreciate you guys tuning in on this another Tuesday evening. I mean, sorry for the late start. We just had a different show, and then we had to get started out. So never too late. So this evening, just want to say good evening to the folks in Oli and Layamiga. If you're a first-time listener, that's the ancient name for the Twin Islands. But say good evening to the folks in the neighboring islands, Sabre, Statia, St. Bart's, Montserrat, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the BVI. Also the folks over in Dominique and St. Martin, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the folks over in Grenada and so forth, and throughout the Windward Island. Also the folks in the diaspora, North America, from the further keys up to Maine, folks over in Chicago, Atlanta, Georgia, and also the folks over in Europe who stay listening in different time zones. So we really appreciate you guys. I mean, still got to stay up late in the evening and get up in the morning to go on the hustle. So definitely we don't take you guys for granted. Also, good evening to the folks over in Asia and wherever you're around the world. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Good morning, good afternoon, whichever is appropriate, that is extended to you. Yahsonn, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing wonderful. We would have gotten a good bit of rains for the past couple of days. We didn't get the storm. We were threatened by the storm, and we want to say, it's a good feeling to know that we would have been spared, and we would have only gotten some wonderful shows, which the plants are very much happy for. I could do with another day or two of
Yes.
similar rains. It was not too much to say flood out the place, but it was, to me, enough to help cool down the earth, because prior to this storm, we were really beginning to start to feel a bit of that, summer heat. And so I give thanks for the showers of blessings, and I give thanks that, most of us throughout the region would have been spared. Um, as I don't think at this point, especially the way our economy is and things is at this point, that we could really do with something like that. As we speak, also, um, as we speak, there is seemingly threats of some other systems. I think one or two that is um, circling around us, and so we still have to keep ourselves prepared and be on guard. We're still in what is considered the hurricane season here in the Caribbean, and so we still have to keep our guards up and be prepared and keep monitoring with our folks at the disaster management and so on. I want to give thanks to people like Mr. Brian Dyer and the others who over the years would have been doing a wonderful job in terms of keeping us updated on the storms and trackings and giving a bit of explanations and so on to the different terminologies and help us better understand what we are dealing with or what we have to deal with or what we are exposed to. And so to all of those people who make it their business to keep us informed, we truly are grateful for your contributions over the years and even within these times, Bankie. And so it's a real good feeling to know that, and I'm really happy for the rains. I must say, as I sat, Saturday, it was what, Saturday night? Friday night into Saturday morning, so to speak, hearing the rains and feeling the rains and, hearing the thunder and the lightning and so on, but just still, at ease knowing that it's passing and we're only really getting the remnants of what's left of the system and so on. That was a good feeling to know that. And so I'm really, really happy for the rains and looking forward to the plants coming up. I would have planted a couple of watermelons and cantaloupe just before the rains, and I'm smiling right now, Bankie, because I go outside and I see a lot of them popped up. So I know that in just another week or two, I will be able to transplant and have myself set up, for some
Nice.
melons and some cantaloupe coming. So people, that's what you can do in these times. Prepare yourself and do some planting. I want to continue to encourage people to invest in fruit trees. These are some real good investments. You can consider them as gifts also for, friends and families and so on. Invest in fruit trees. I want you to see them as investments. You may spend a $50 or $60 or $70 on a fruit tree. And you might think, well, it's a bit costly, but think about the end result. Think about 3-4 years down the road or 5 years down the road, and you're saving yourself many $70, many $60, many $50. Because if you buy a mango tree or, and or a sugar apple tree or a soursop tree or whatever tree that may take a couple of years to bear, but then after it starts bearing every year, you're going to be getting fruit, sometimes enough for you, and then even the surplus for you to whether gift somebody, share with family, or in some cases even sell and generate a little bit of extra revenue. So I want to encourage folks out there, especially as we Bankie seek to continue. I'm not hearing anything much about the 25 by 25 by 25 agenda and so on. But we want to encourage folks still to treat it as if we are still on that mission, and not even just a 25, but really seek to reduce our food import bill to zero. That should be the real objective. Bring it down to zero. 25, you know what I mean? And it's sad to me that we were really looking at 25 and is, I can't even say was, is struggling to meet that mark. I mean, imagine you spending over $200 million annually on food, and you are seeking to reduce that 25%. And leadership, amongst others, finding it a challenge to seek to do that, to do what is necessary in terms of investing in the local farmers, empowering the local farmers, empowering the local agro-processors and so on, so that we could make this a reality. It's sad, and we are now pushed even further to meet a 20 by 30 agenda instead of 20 by 25. So we know that even though we would have had a little bit of catalyst and push towards meeting the 25, the end of 2025, based on the fact that, CARICOM is suggesting that we push up and move to 2030, that a lot of the agendas that would have been set for 2025 is going to be pushed back on the back burner, and people are going to wait until maybe 2028 or 2029 to begin to show that they're really serious about the 25 by 25 agenda. And I'm saying this because I'm the 2030 agenda. I'm saying this because the evidence was shown with the 25 by 25 agenda, because it was about the year 2020 when CARICOM began speaking about this 25 by 25 agenda. And it wasn't until, say, 2023, 2024 that the governments and St. Kitts and Nevis began to say that they're trying to promote this 25 by 25 agenda fully. And in regards to Nevis, I am not even sure if Nevis even really got on board with this 25 by 25 agenda as yet. So imagine now that it has been pushed back to 2030. We were not hearing anything much, and we're not seeing much, but we're hopeful that as the journey continues, we would get that kind of drive in terms of addressing our food sovereignty concerns. I think the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and the people of Nevis more specifically, really need to zoom in on what is happening in terms of our food. And if we are not careful, we are going to be placed in a position where we really, apart from just importing the food at this point, we are going to be in a position where we have to depend on somebody else for our food, because there are lots of efforts being made to genetically modify the fruits and the seeds that we are purchasing, to the point where we are having a lot of seedless. So it means that when you purchase certain things, you are not in a position as a farmer to take the seeds from whatever it is that you grow and replant, because you're not guaranteed getting the same thing. So, in terms of a seed bank, it is something that I've been saying for a number of years, but I think it is something that we really have to seriously consider, so that we can store a lot of our indigenous fruits and seeds and so on, so that in the event that something happens, a major crisis, that we can eventually go back and begin to replant and so on. So these are some things we really have to consider on the journey. And if it's not the government to spearhead the seed bank, we need to have farmers and persons begin to think more seriously along this line, where we could secure a lot more of our food trees, so that we are not in a case like now where Shaddock, for example, is something that is not so common anymore, and that was something that was very, very common. You could hardly find what they call maca trees and so on, and maca fruits. You could hardly find dog apple and custard apple, right? I mean, a lot of these things were in the mountains and so on, but we never really start to cultivate some of these things and try to keep and maintain some of these things. So these are some of the things that we really have to consider. And that is one of the things that I am working on personally in terms of seeking to get some of these indigenous fruits and seeds and so on, so that I can begin to cultivate and have some of these in the nursery and have them available for folks if they're interested in helping to be a part of that drive to bring back some of these fruits that that were common, say maybe 20, 30 years ago or 30, 40 years ago, but are now seemingly almost like extinct in terms of the way, and this would be due to a lot of different things. Some die out over time, developments, and people just come with the machinery and push down a lot of these things, and sometimes don't even care to keep or maintain some of these trees that would have been around for a very long time and so on. So as a result, we lose it, and sometimes we say it's the price of development. And these are things that we have to look at. And as we move on and we talk about development, that is one of the issues that we are seeing right now. The price of development. We are seemingly we are having issues as we talk about this agricultural issue and food sovereignty and food security, and we're seeking to reduce the food import bill and all of these things. And when farmers are seeking to expand what they have and are seeking large tracts of lands to expand and get into some larger scale farming projects, we are in a lot of cases meted with the story that there's no lands, no lands available. We don't have lands that we could earmark and put aside for these kind of projects. But now we are hearing that without even any consultation with us, the masses, that the government would have gone in the House and passed this bill that is claiming that they're open to foreign investors who will be able to invest, but they can't do anything less than 500 acres. So you can't find even 50 or 100 acres to allocate to farmers, but you are reaching out to foreign investors to come in and get no less than 500 acres. That is troubling, and it is troubling in the sense that it was not even discussed with us, the people. And these are some of the things, Bankie, that I have a problem with, and I keep saying all the time. We, the masses, have been comfortable with not holding these people accountable, not having them come and consult with us, and it has become the norm to the point now when we seek to be asking and demanding for that which we really should have been getting all along. We are deemed as problematic, troublemakers, ignore the noise, we support an opposition party, and all of these things because we are claiming that these people need to consult with us, discuss with us before they make decisions on behalf of us, because that is what they're claiming. They're claiming that these things that they're doing is supposed to be for our benefit. Well, if it is supposed to be for our benefit, why you don't feel the need to come and consult with us and have a conversation with us and at least get to hear what we are thinking before you go and pass a bill? Because you see, one of the things, Bankie, and I keep saying this, after they already passed the bill and they go in the House, it is much harder to repeal or amend a bill that has already been passed than to stop one from actually getting there. And so, if we the masses don't begin examples like this yeah, this happened. And there was another scenario, Bankie, that I found that I didn't realize, I didn't hear much of a pushback from the people on Nevis. But the government also went into the house and passed some gaming act, or bill or something in Nevis a couple months back. And one of the things that I am recognizing about this bill is that here is it that the rush went into cabinet to pass this bill, but divisions and petitions are exempt from participating. So here is it you're trying to create a opportunity, a revenue space, an opportunity to create extra revenue. And here is it that you're introducing some new venture to achieve this goal, but at the same time you're claiming that we can't participate. So this law has been passed, and it is said to be a very risky venture. So here is it that our government would have made a decision to open up this risky opportunity, but we can't take part in the risk. So whatever monies are to be made or to be gained may only be via the taxes and so on, but the average people and think it's a Nevis. And so we had no consultation, we had no discussion on this thing. We just hear that they're gone in the house to pass this thing. Now, I don't know how much longer and what else it need for us to get to the point where we realize that we are the bosses. We are the ones who elect these guys to represent us, and they're supposed to be working on behalf of us. And it's our taxes that's paying them. And so, in our governance structure, the way it is structured, these people are supposed to come and consult with us, discuss whatever it is with us. We're supposed to be able to give feedback, even if they opt to not study with us and do something different. We should at least have that opportunity to say that we were able to lend our voices to this thing, and then they chose to do whatever, so then we know what to do when the time comes. We could say, look, we were talking to you guys and you guys didn't do it, so now, hey, we're voting against this. Or we're going to call a vote on no confidence. Or we're going to, whatever the case may be. But, Bankie, until the masses wake up and start to agitate for that which they should be given, then a lot of this kind of disrespect is going to continue. And to some people, they don't see it as disrespect. They don't see it as disrespect that these officials who are our employees, after being elected, are seeking to use reverse psychology and turn around the game and make it feel like they are the bosses, and we just have to listen to what they say. Whatever they do, we just have to take it. And we realize the same game being played, and then 6 months prior to the election, they start coming around your yard, and your dog get accustomed to them, and so the dog stop back after them, and so for the 6 months, because they all around you. And then after they get in, because they realize, that they come to us to look at job. We give them a job for 5 years, and they will do anything at that point to get back that job. And that is the only time the people get to realize who really are the bosses. But then they even seek to distract us at that time, because then they come with all kind of gift and try to give you all kind of things and so on. So a lot of people get distracted and then realize that it's a job these guys coming back to look, a 5-year job, where you can't turn them away so easy. These are some different employees, This is some employees where you just say, well, okay, you're not performing and we're going to turn you away. You got to wait 5 years to turn them away, unless you get a vote on no confidence, which is highly unlikely, because who you would want to vote on no confidence from are going to be paid and so on by them and so on, and so they themselves are going to be complicit with what is going on, and thus we have these issues. So, Bankie, I don't know what your thoughts are in relation to that special bill that they passed, where they say 500 acres or more and the fact that they have no consultation with us.
Well, before you touch that, Yahsonn, let me go back. You touch on agriculture and so forth, and their land have been, well, bill have been passed for lands and stuff like that for development, but you can't get 50 acres or half an acre or quarter acre. If anyone is asked to call the Department of Agriculture tomorrow seeking to venture into farming, whether it's crop or animal, the odds are they're going to tell you there ain't any land and go and seek private ownership. The 2025 agenda, you mentioned that, where is moved to 2030, but you haven't been hearing anyone from the ministry in the media. Even the minister himself, I mean, last week, the minister had his final catwalk when he was giving his farewell and thank you for the participation in Culturama, because he went out and did a tape and played. I mean, I would thought I would listen to a queen and his friend and their final reign, because that's just so pure failure from the minister himself. And then here you have the poultry unit. You have here no one speak about the poultry unit, which was an investment, which is about poultry when it comes to eggs and stuff like that, and broiler. But it's nothing. You ain't hearing nothing about the industry. There's a unit which is said to be purchasing in Canada. I mean, how much that unit is gonna cost, and who is going to be the contractor to erect it, and how much gonna cost to build a building and then to furnish it out with equipment and stuff like that. I never even hear the manager of the abattoir, Mr. Gary Griffin, speak on behalf of this processing unit, and he's the one who will be in charge of it. And that not even the minister sit with Gary and say, well, Gary, do you like the machine? And this is the machine we have purchased. And Gary said, boy, this machine is one of the top of the class. Usually hear stuff, you see what I mean? Because he's the one who will know which machine to purchase. We don't know any information if he had a say in purchasing this particular machine, because he will do his research as well. This is the best one to buy, or they just go and buy a machine on their own. So it's a lot of information is not finished. So I work within the department for 13 years. So when I speak, I understand the logistics. You see what I mean? So anyone within the department itself, when I speak, I cannot be corrected, because I'm trained the same way. I'm one of those who, when Gary doing training with meat special cuts, I take the training, because I'm the kind of person you could never have much of skill set, because I grew up in with my uncle Breno. When it comes to, I know to butcher an animal, and you know what I mean, pig, it doesn't matter what it is. I understand those kind of skill set, because these things was passed on to myself along with my other siblings and cousins that grew up in that particular yard. So when it comes to when the minister and his old cabinet going to be entertaining these things, up to now, you ain't even have land allocated. You see what I mean? This poultry thing been bouncing around where the process you're supposed to be in New River, then he moved, then he had a next start come up where some investors gonna come in and start to do some poultry from Asia, somewhere down in Indian Castle, close the orchard, and then it just then it shift again back to New River. Now, because the whole plan, if you go back and listen when they were speaking about this project, was they're encouraging young females or young male who want to have 300 birds, 400 birds, to get into involved, and they might have funding and all this different stuff, and land will be allocated and all this different stuff. But when it come to it's a total different plan now. This is not encouraging.
You see, Bankie, one of the things, right? One of the things that I'm realizing is that we have this kind of 9-day mentality. Yeah. And this is where I guess the politics function the way they function. They tell you something.
Yeah, but I don't.
And then after 9 days, you forget about it. So they come back with something else. Because you don't forget.
Yeah. Yeah, but let me finish. But I don't forget Yahsonn. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I like to listen when everybody saw is listen to all the radio shows as much as I can. If not, I go and replay them and find them and listen to it in my own spare time and listen, because I don't want anybody tell me he says, she says, but when the story come, is a total different situation. So when I speak, I go, so well, you said this. You can't say and say so, because you say so. Okay? So if you if you can allocate the land for this industry in Webb's ground, which is a private land, is not government land, okay? And I stand to be corrected from my understanding. Not the land is not even secure or sealed. I say, boom. So which means there's a farmer right now who don't spend over 30,000 US buy a processing unit because he was excited about. Cause this will start off as a hype, where everybody meeting me with the poultry and the this and they're gonna be going to poultry. Real hype, I'm telling you. And it just fall off.
I remember.
Okay, good. All right. So this gentleman, an investor, and the minister go and tell him he did not build a car so much of money. So right there, the man got a machine sitting down where they spent. I have it in a shed or wherever. The machine there sitting down, not in use. Okay. Luckily, he ain't out for it, but it's still a loss. We cannot make no money. All right. So where you get water from? So farmers would have to take up their own personal money, go to a bank, and seek a loan of whatever interest instead the government have funded in a one of the government bank, and where they can have a low interest, whether it's 1% or whatever it is. Those who can get up to $20,000 or $30,000, whatever, and get as a different. It's none of these things are discussed. So when the cabinet and the members of parliament, whether it's the minister or the premier and them come with the fancy language, my brain don't take on things that don't make sense in a virgin. All these highfalutin words that people speaking, I just put them in the trash basket, because it's nonsense you're talking. Because if it's that tangible, it does not register with me. You see, the minister have worked in the agriculture sector all his life and he have nothing to show. He have just failed these people. It's true that some extension staff come up my farm today. You understand? There are 3 of them in a vehicle and they show in 1 vehicle. So only 1 vehicle for extension workers, brethren. And you have 5 districts. So you have more than 5 extension officers and they have 1 vehicle. 1 vehicle. Okay? 1. How they want, so each of them get a vehicle for a day in the week. So they want to do for the rest days. And this, since I was there, I been using my own personal vehicle before I was put in charge of Indian Castle, where the PS give me the PS personal vehicle, a vehicle that is aligned for the PS. Apart from that, I use my personal vehicle throughout my tenure in the agriculture department. Never get traveling allowance, which was owed to me. You understand? Under Zook and under Eric. And the director know that, the PS them know that. Never, ever, ever, when everybody is getting traveling allowance. You see what I mean? Never complain, ever. I dedicate myself to my work. I don't do my work. You see what I mean? I don't put in my time. So whatever exists, so it shows that I was holding up the agriculture department. It shows the farmers call me every day. By Rastaman, since you left, may see this, may see that, may gonna help just 1 ton of things. But that is not, I mean, I'm sorry that these things happen. You see what I mean? Because I know the outcome when I leave the department, but I know I ain't gonna stick around and bow down and give nobody no blow job and let them screw me over for nothing. It ain't gonna work. It don't exist. I ain't gonna be hugging up the minister and patting him on his back and go be back on that kind of vibes. None of them, meaning that. You see what I mean? Those who work within the civil service, who do the work, is exploited. And those who suck up and give blow jobs to both male and female, and them is who get promoted. Which we have the issue with that, because choices. You see what I mean? Right. I choose not to. You see? So those who suck up, wish them all the best. But it shows within their failure. So even the minister and the premier, when they say they're gonna give people increments, they're gonna still give the failures them the increments, because those are those who suck up to them. You see what I mean? But it shows now I'm not within the department, the fall off when it comes to the crops coming into marketing department. Drop off big time. They can check the stats. They know that. You hear them speaking of Indian Castle, and that's a pilot project which is used in the 2025 agenda. If you check the 2025 agenda that was showcased in Sync when they teamed up, is Indian Castle they're using. Everything that is there. And when the minister can come back, and Indian Castle and lights the 5,000 trees planted down there, he need to go and court them, because he don't know what trees planted down. He don't know what sugar apple tree was planted. Because he have no interest. There's no 5,000 trees planted. 5,500 trees was brought in. I myself
Okay.
handpicked some tallest trees and sent them to sink it, but it was over 12 inches and kept the smallest one smaller than your pinky finger. You see what I mean? The minister don't have an interest in your car. He no in your cars on the falling apart. He have no interest in the poultry production. He have no interest in agriculture at all. What he have interested in the flowers. He love flowers. So he should open up a nursery. He love flowers. He dedicated himself to flowers. So flowers is a part of agriculture too. But don't give the impression that you love agriculture and all these things, because that is not true. Because every day farmers crying. Every day. No assistant. That is the reality. What pilot project is the department going on when it comes to whether it's bell peppers, tomato, and doing a pilot project with farmers? What farmers field school are they doing when it comes to growing tomatoes, watermelon, where farmers can get up in the morning, go to a set piece of land and all this different stuff and work together with the extension staff, where everybody worked. Because I mean, the extension staff have to get up out of the bed to be at the place before the sunrise for 6 o'clock, whatever time is agreed, and all this different stuff. These things ain't happening. This is how extension job is not to go around and just look at people think and collect data in a virgin. Your job is to find different techniques to work along with farmers, compost teas and all this different stuff. And you a farm, you say, yo, try this, me and take care of this, and you work along with the farmer. These are so you work together. You got to get your hand in the ground. Having things, a lot of people can pass a test enough. I really live in a society where people are very good at taking, don't get nervous and stuff like that. So they can get 16 subjects and all this different stuff, have 20 degrees. But if you're not applying yourself, actually, when it comes to the technical part of it, me not listen to you. I'll take the information that makes sense, but I'll do my own research. But me and carry this attack. You know what I'm saying? I've been around scientists that work for NASA. My brother Sean, wife, his father, J.B. Judge Barnes, James Barnes. If you Google his name, you will see the type of scientist he was. Died at age 54, young man. You know what I'm saying? NASA now hire you unless you can use your hand, virgin. You see what I mean? You have to be able to use your hand. It's not about technical brain up here. If you're able to use your hand, just so you talk, let me show you. Well, show me it then. You understand? You tell me how to fix the brakes, but when you come to do it, you can't put on the brakes. But you tell me all the different ways and whatever, but you can't put it on. Well, me not take you on. You see, these are the issues we have where we put in peer in front of experience and hands-on. So the civil service will fail. Agriculture is a hands-on thing. It will fail if that's the way you're moving. You see? Poultry take a lot of water, my virgin. These fowl eat and drink water all the time, all day. You know? They are eating machines, you know. And they are and plus it take a lot of medication. And then feed is one of the most important things. And have these young bird, baby chicks. You understand? One day old, you have to have a lighting system to keep them under, to keep them warm and all these things. Then you have your pen building away it keep out rodents. So how this pen is gonna build is there's a design for these pens where they're gonna have a septic tank, where the feces is gonna go, how you're gonna control the flies. I mean, and all this different stuff. Nobody's speaking about nothing. You know what I mean? People just gonna get on the radio and they have a tongue in their mouth and just come and talk and forget their people understand how systems work. You see, nobody in the department can speak. If you speak to anyone in the department, the director and the deputy and all, they will say, boy, me. That's all they're going to say. Just like they must know. Because they could just finish, the minister just, and the cabinet just they look bad. God can't start in a project, but they just don't want to come and say, you know what, we're going to shift from this thing and we're going to go into something different. Just say so. Just say you make a mistake and all this different stuff. And then you went on. So it shows that nothing happening. So this 2020, 30, no, you're not hearing about that right now. You understand? All I want to hear about open day. That's all I want to hear about, open day. And until they put open in a place where ganja, cannabis, sensimania, where you can have a whole line with 20 different people in there, got herb and, you know what I'm saying, different cannabis products and whatever. Because the minister himself, he don't love herb. You see what I mean? But they love rum. You see? So rum is okay to take part up inside there. But they love alcohol. They love fetting. But they fight herb, which is he said in the same parliament where them pass the same and agree that the herb is legal, is a medicinal plant. but yet they still fear it because it's a mind frame. You see, and he's still in charge of the same herb. Yet he's still in charge of the same parliament government that when can you touch on this? Nothing special about that the bill there, you know. So me now use about special, sustainable, nothing sustainable about that neither. So me now use nothing about special bill, now sustainable bill. Me and you been here using the word sustainability for the last 5 years because we're talking about saving water and stuff in a way. You see what I mean? That is conducive to the environment. I was told them to learn a word named sustainable and special. We're not taking on that. We're talking about the special ed. Because anyone in the right mind, you see what I mean, go into parliament and pass these kind of bills, your island only 36 square miles, where you want to give developers, whoever you want to come in and wherever, to take part and give them nothing less than 500. Okay, good. Me don't get excited because if nothing explained to me, I'm going to repeat what I hear, can I listen, but not even the premier could explain what he just passed. He don't know what the rest of them want. So he don't. They just pass a bill, but they can't explain the bill. Listen. So nobody I listen to all the radio show can explain that bill. So my thing, therefore, we send the bill. You they make excuse for them getting about this. Not name hard in a virgin. So when they come in about 30, fancy the constitution, not even a comma being changed. Nothing name hard. So I don't accept them kind of crap. You see, me is a no nonsense person. They can feed the information and who gonna excited. Cause one thing I know, nobody I speak to or who approach me about this bill, they understand it. And everybody got their own idea how what the bill say, what the bill be. Well, me not none. I'll hear me saying, we send the bill. And when they send the bill, they apologize to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and then they resign from the whole parliament and the position. Because these people are supposed to walk around here and feel comfortable. They are should have bodyguard. You understand? The art should feel uncomfortable because when you do stuff like this here, you do not have the people's interest, and then you want to take away stuff by eminent domain. And then me add the next piece again. From my information I get in, is that these people who calling people about buying their land, okay, it's like people are calling me to buy. I have a property, however, a few property. Well, first me ask them, will you see for sale on it? Do you see for sale on the land? No, well, here's yours. Well, good. Phone hang up. Me not entertain crap. You can't call me and force me to sell what me not sell. You see what I mean? So why should me entertain? I pay my phone bill, virgin. My phone could ring anytime. I answer the call. I don't want to take a call. Me not on nobody nothing. You see what I mean? Nobody could call me and say, boy, what good? I ain't on nobody no favors, virgin. So nobody can call my phone and tell me I have to just jump and do it. It don't work like so. A lot of men only have to act like that, like females, because they bend over and do all kind of things. So when man call them, they got to run. Like girls, or worse than girls. My thing is, make sure they show the eye. Okay? This bill here, the man need to rescind it. Take it back. Evolve and know it. The bill ain't not good. We're talking about, how can that be good? When you want to put laws to take away people's stuff to please developers. I'm going to go back again in the shanty tree, you know. I say all the time, you know. There's a word called wazungu or wazunga. W-A-Z-U-N-G-U. Okay? It means foreigner or the white man or anybody else. Also mean the destroyer. Okay? They just come to take. And our people is the one who giving them thing and putting special bills in place for them to take this thing. So the 11 of them who went and agreed to this thing, and when they see a minister of agriculture again, going to say, well, people are saying not doing development and whatever, now the developers got a chance. Sucking up, making excuses. He can't even explain the bill. No, they can explain the bill. All the talk shows I listen to, everybody's assuming, well, though they didn't raise no fool, you know. So I don't assume nothing, you know. So I don't even entertain in the bill. None of them supposed to feel comfortable. None in the parliament, child labor, none of them, not even the legal advisor, because she and I entertain the kind of crap. And they didn't advise them that what they're doing is wrong. And they should consult the people and ask if they would like if they would like an area for special development, if 100 acres and what they think about these things. Nothing. Full speed, 1, 2, 3 reading, boom. So it's an act. In a bill is an act. It's already a law. You see? So they need to take it back out as quick as they put it in. Because there have to be a time, where people, you see how the premier got a personal chauffeur. Ireland should need personal chauffeur. Yeah, because they ain't care about us. It's obviously they ain't care about us. What they have done is dragged the last straw, because the people are very upset about this thing, very frustrated, and this thing gonna get personal with other people, and they don't understand it. Navy's people don't play with the land, and they ain't no fool. The Hamilton estate there, the tourism department and the whole cabinet give it away, to the same thing again, foreigners. You see, Mark and Vanilla Paradise at Hamilton, fancy name. They still getting 6 acres up in the Hamilton Mountain. I personally measured, you see what I mean, 2 acres each for farmers up in the same said mountain, Put it down and the PS them this, Nothing up to now. But these people easily get 6 acres and still get our sugar mill. I wonder, Leonard Stapleton, what would have to say about this, a historian, when it comes to these things. Virgin, it is obvious that when it comes to these things, is either they have getting Alzheimer's and they have lost their mind and all what happening. You understand? Because these things don't make no sense. You see what I mean? You can't just get up and put these things into play. You understand? And this thing, it goes well and people can just go along with it. People going to ask question, my virgin. And all who go along with, okay, look at those who went and said they're going to sell their land. 4 years later, you're not going to get use of your money. You get 10% down. Okay? But then you don't have access to your land again. So what is wrong with that? A lot of things is wrong with that, because you're not get paid for your land, but you're not going to access to it. But you see,
it's a choice.
we love.
It's a choice.
Huh?
It's a choice you make, because you don't have to take the
Yeah,
deal.
but yes, we can develop our own land. I keep saying it over and over. We have where we have all these engineers, all these architects. We have a lot of young guys, a lot of talented engineers, older guys. Why can't all of them come together and develop our own land from scratch?
We can do that, and we should do that. But as we are seeing, we elect officials who we expect to perform and do things that can stimulate the economy so that we don't have to take so drastic actions. But at the end of the day, they have realized that they could do us almost anything and they get away. And like you say, whatever happened, and we complain and talk for a couple of days, and then another distract you with something else, and you forget about that story. So just like this might be a hot topic for, the next couple of weeks or whatever, and then, we forget about that, and by the time we start to talk about it again is when we realize the first investor done by the first 500 acres or the first 600 acres, and then you can't go over there. I mean, we are living in a time where until our people wake up, until the masses wake up and realize their true potential, the game is going to continue to be played. And we are going to continue being disrespected. So, Bankie, I feel you. And I share what you're saying. But at the same time, I am seeing our reality on the ground in terms of the kind of disrespect that is meted out to us as civilians, as citizens, as the masses, and how we take the disrespect and still defend and even go back and vote back the same people who are disrespecting us. So what do you say when you have that scenario to deal with? That me and you are saying how terrible and how bad these things are, and then you have a set of people who like seemingly like looking at us as the bad one.
But you have to understand these things here in the bridging. The same people who are against the same people who was with the COVID, nothing changed, They don't bow, they don't accept, that's you don't realize nothing changed. You hear any of the experts are the foreigners them saying anything about this particular bill? But when they're moving about the fuel storage, Sabre have a fuel storage right there, collect more minimum $400 million a month every year off the oil storage facility right there in Sabre, right there. So you see what I mean? They make nice and they know, so which means these are probably ideas people have in their head from a long time, but they own ideas that they want when they get into this place and see this land. So these things don't come. Nothing is coincidental in my virgin. So I love when people speak. You see, let people speak and voice their opinion. Nothing is wrong with that. Is the opinion. They have a right to do these things. So they get to know how they think. You know what I'm saying? So I love stuff like that. You're mad when people show you who they are. Accept it, my virgin. Let them be their true self because they be their true self. Remember, I'm me and you the super spreader, you know. What you forget? And we cause people to get out of the thing. Or you forget. We not accept. Or you forget. Well, me not forget. So you're talking about people 7 days, you know, work with me. You don't work in my household. You see, that's the difference. Because that's the reality. I had to be around and see how people act towards me, going to pick up my youth from school and acting different vibes and acting something. Well, me not still here. Where me gone? Well, you not still there? That is the reality. In life, there are those who are just going to comply, my virgin. There are those who know better will still comply because they love the material thing. They love dead people upon a piece of paper. When paper don't, this thing not going to value. All hallucination. That's all it is. Money not going to value. Well, eat it. Wash your skin with it. You see what I mean? I go and check a virgin, a man today called me, wanted to come look at some mango cheese and whatever. Well, Bankie, how much I get for you? Boom. We are barter. Me no want your money. You see what I mean? You like this tree? Sure. And that tree, of course, bartering. Keep your money. You see what I mean? I know you take it in today. You're gonna value way more than whatever it is. So I always welcome people to keep their money or whatever it is. Because we gotta get out and teach you to them better, because we live in a society where the people who we want them to look up to is the con artists and them. And they need to do with it. Stop tell your children look up to these people throughout society in a position because they have their own secret order. They come amongst you, sit down in the same church and laughing after you because they don't believe in nothing in the church that they believe in. And that is the problem. You see? You think this people because they come and say you clap and stamp up and they don't believe in nothing because all I believe in the things. You see? They got their own different systems because they're just laughing after you. But these are the problem. When you see, we live in a world where the greatest thing, are plenty devils walking around here every day, you know, because heaven and hell is a state of mind. That is the reality. There ain't no hell nowhere but in your mind. You see? So I choose using heaven in a positive state of mind and know myself. I don't need nobody come tell me nothing about this and nothing about that. You see what I mean? Everything within inside me exists. It's just for me to find it. Once you understand that, nobody, no place you're going to sit down and people preach for you from Monday to Sunday going to change nothing. Pure belief system, and they can't prove nothing that they say, nothing. And I suppose listen to another man who don't even accept. Because I ask many preachers, are you divine? Oh, no, I'm not divine. So what may I listen to you for? If you're not accept who you be. Why should I listen to you? You denounce your own self, don't even want to know your true self. This is the system we're living in. So I engage conversation. But what the ministers and all these 11 guys have done, you ain't hear nothing from Sean Richards. You ain't hear nothing from Timothy who like to talk. Not up to now, he not come out and they like to talk. You know that. They like to talk. They not speak on it.
Well,
because they are
Bankie,
on it.
That brings another issue to the table where we are paying these opposition ministers, we the taxpayers, we are paying them, and the least they could do, because we know that they are not in power, in cabinet, so they are unable to make decisions like the ones who are actually the elected officials. However, they are paid as opposition members. Why are we, the masses, allowing them to get away so easily with not showing up in the house to represent us? Because remember, even though they are not a part of the cabinet, the elected 8 or how much ever they are right now. They would have been given the mandate by their various constituencies. Those people would have voted for them. They have not made it, their party didn't make it in. But they are supposed to be there to represent. So we expect when you have a bill like this to be argued or debated in the House, for those who voted for you, you are expected to go in to represent them. When you don't, then what happens? Is there anything that takes out their money or anything if they don't go into the House? In some cases,
you can't miss 2 of Parliament or whatever. I think you can't miss 2 of them back to back. So they know they're doing. You see what I mean? Because they want to pay. If you miss 2 back to back or 3, you're not going to pay. It's all this thing about money in a virgin. This thing is all about money. You see? None of these guys who explain this bill know about the bill. Because listen to them. They just they have the tax, so they get up and just talk and say, oh, you know, so use it towards sustainable and this and that and special and act like investment and pure crap in the whole water. You can't, if something is crap, it is crap. You know, how nice to doll it up in a virgin. It's crap. So my thing is, I'm not entertaining. They can't explain it. Not even the premier sure, well, what is it? Nobody's sure about it. So why should I try to assume? I don't assume things, my virgin. I don't entertain waste of time things. But that bill we sent, and these guys should not be living on the island among us because they don't have our interests. They play and show, and they just show you the Minister of Agriculture. Virgin, your land is your independent. That is your independent. Where I sit at, this property belongs to my children, them, you know, and my wife, you know. So if my wife throw me out the house, I tell me what I want a divorce, I say never everything to them. Are you on? They know that. I just pack with me having a garbage bag, and so be it. If she want an next property, she business. Me not argue with them. Just leave me alone. You see what I'm trying to show you? Come in and argue with people. Me like peace. Me could start over anytime. You got children in me. That's how it is. You see what I mean? So which mean I give me youth and them a start. So that is creating generate. They don't have to worry about the land and these things. They have asset. So that is how you do things. So when I ain't gonna put these things in place, I gonna let my youth have to go up, go to Indian times, they're gonna buy a piece of land. We're gonna cost them 100,000 US or more. And now they're thinking about sizing down for the government to give you building houses on 2,000 square feet of land. All right, but then to go and pass bills, an act now that is in place, 500 acres or more development. But you know, as a citizen, not a citizen, as a native, only going to get 2,000 square feet of land to live pan. That is funny to me. When you're supposed to be increasing the size of land, with 5,000 square feet and 6,000 square feet, madness. So how you can find so we don't have no problem with the land, my virgin. So when people come in and saying, oh, we don't want to space, we want to offer space. We want to the space. There is madness and lies that have been put in your head. I understand the use of space. You see what I mean? I understand space. So you can't tell you about no space and how to use large spaces and small spaces. So when people come with them nonsense, I don't want to entertain it. So I don't care if you got on a suit or if you got on a sweatpant. If you're talking sense, I'm listening to you. If you're talking crap, me want to hear from you because my brain can't take it. Yeah. So all these guys who entertain this bill or just pass, they need to apologize. And apologize to the people because they are frustrated the people, and then everybody thinking what they want to take because nothing is explained. What is going to happen? I ain't one of the person though who going to try to explain out things because I know they're getting Alzheimer's and they are looking out and who benefiting. Because you have to, my thing, you know, you watch a movie named Jerry Maguire with Cuba Gooding Jr., where he a football player and he have his agent. All he got to tell them, show me the money. Follow the money and you'll see who benefiting. You see what I mean? This is just the reality. Okay? We got to come better than this. We got to learn to develop our own land. We got to. Why would we want to always bring in people to develop our land? We have great engineers. We have great builders. We can come up with a nice design to suit that whatever area we want to develop and do it ourselves because the same people who you want to bring here to encourage to come here, don't still take the money out of the bank. Don't still take the money out of the SIDF and all these things. You see what I mean? So how this thing makes sense?
Well, you see, Bankie, that's what I keep telling you sometimes, like a lot of these things may not make sense to us, but it makes sense to them. Because you see, when you empower the natives and you give them these lands and so on to do these things that you're talking about and you're suggesting, the
Yes.
natives are not going to under the table put a $2 million in the campaign fund, but they can
Yahsonn.
through negotiations convince some of these outside investors to give them that $2 million for the campaign fund. So to you it might make sense, but to them they make the $2 million and then they get to stay in power for the next 5 years. That makes a lot of sense for them. So you might not make the money, and the people might not make the money, but they are.
The people.
They are benefiting.
The peninsula, it was said, you don't have a bad deal under 20 years of Douglas. When me use some word, me for real words that we know. It come wasa under team unity, which mean all in the same parliament, Remember under Douglas, kind of scandal with the White Gate and this Laval and kind of something, Astafan and this and that, where he said he not remember about the deal. You must remember, Taploy. You was the minister, you in charge, you know what we know and talk about it. You see? They don't want to answer to the people. Then Timothy add more and give them the same 12 miles out, same thing Navies do. These guys, they all drink out of the same cup, they all in a brotherhood together. I don't realize it. But what is not there to realize? They now go against each other, my brethren. We against each other. Can we be foolish? You see? We're being foolish, but these guys drinking out the same cup. That is the reality. They ain't have our interests. None of them. You see, these are the reality. They don't have our interests. Because it's just plain to see. Because no farmers right now can go, no person, no small business person can go and go to the SIDF and retrieve 60 million US dollars and still owe skeleton or water department or ark in the bill, social security, them that jail work, social security jail work. And the government give them money to bail out these people and still give them money to build up banks in America and all these things. And still give them more land. They want in power right now. And then they do this. You can't make up these things, yeah? I got to educate my youth with these things. Speak, show them these things. I can't. So how am I going to lie to my youth? You have to make comparisons. So I in whole inside with nobody, whether it's Palm Labor, PFP, me in that virgin. When I see you, I see Yahsonn. I don't see a color shot. I don't see a color. That's why everybody may get along. Because I listen and we reason. And if you're going to hold a life for a politician, you're not being honest, my virgin. You're not being honest. So when you're not being honest, I know they can appear a person in front of me, but me not have no. That's your choice. If you want to be a corrupt person or whatever to be kind of benefiting, it have nothing to do with me. You choose to do what you want to do. That's just how I live. I don't vex nobody when they find the hustle, because that's the hustle. You see what I mean? That's people who something not vex nobody. I'm not the kind of person to get into feelings over politics and I'm not into that. For farm, do what you say you're going to do, and that's it. If not, exclude yourself. Don't force bills upon me and think it's okay, you're supposed to comment about it, because I gonna talk. You understand? Because I got to teach my youth and them, because girls that be know how to maneuver between a room full of vultures. You know what I mean? And analyze, don't trust people, period. No care who they be, don't trust them. That's just the reality, because everybody have an agenda. I can stop here in my little headquarters in my house and smoke my herb and cool and keep quiet, But the people that keep on coming back to me and tell me, yo, we're listening, Keep doing your thing. We're listening, we're with you. So when the people tell me they're with me, what that mean, I know what that mean. Because after a while, the people just get fed up, And the people just need trade. If you back up a man against the wall, what do you think you're gonna do? He's gonna fight back eventually, because he can't run away. You cannot you cannot just come up with these things and think people are gonna accept these things. It don't work like that. Navies, people is rebellious when they come to their land, my virgin. You know what I'm saying? That is the difference. Very rebellious when they come to their land. They're not going to take no crap. And how can Nivision in their good mind will go and sign up these kind of deals where somebody will give you 20% of the value of your land? If you got 5 acres, 10 acres, they give 10% and 4 years later they'll give you the rest. But that's only like people who don't got money to me. You see what I mean?
Well, Bankie,
Yeah, you don't got money, can I attribute this?
the thing now is this topic or this issue another distraction from the fair share issue that would have been on the table, and the fact that 2 weeks ago they would have said that the premier would have looked. The premier said that he and his cabinet would have looked at this thing and they would have sent it back to the prime minister, or they were supposed to have a conversation. The prime minister and the NIA were supposed to have some sort of meeting in relation to the discussions on the table in relation to fair share. We have not heard and know if they did have this meeting. We have not seen the document in relation to what the World Bank would have recommended.
Yahsonn, let me adjust something here, because there's a comment there's something about left ear and wave and chimpanzee. As a scientist, 60,000 years ago, timeline is very important. If it's one set of race of people, I can put up a half-acre land that does not have Neanderthal genes. Is us. Okay? We are over 2 million years old. The Asian and the Caucasian have that Neanderthal genes. Those are scientific facts. I don't deal with facts, I do not get into personal feelings. So the ape thing no go for we as the ancient one. Okay?
Bankie, to be honest with you, right? I would have seen several comments from this person.
And I think as a scientist, I'm just speaking with that. I tell you, so I just put the information out there. You understand? I appreciate stuff like this. I love this kind of thing because I deal with facts. We do not have Neanderthal genes.
I would have seen several comments from that person, but to me it seems as if it's just somebody who, you're a scammer coming in on your page or something, or something like that. So I don't know if moderator was moderating.
Whoever he goes to, maybe they got the Neanderthal genes, but we as the ancient don't have that, and that's facts. So anything else outside of that, when I about just have to put that there. So next in line.
So that's that issue there. But I'm saying, back to the fair share, issue. It's more than enough. I want to think that the NIA would have had more than enough time to look over this document from the World Bank, and I would want to think that, especially based on the fact that this would have been one of the major campaigning points for the 2020 and 2022 election, that now you have the document, that this is something that you would have wanted to address as soon as possible, because your campaign, you ran a whole election based on this fair share argument. And now we seemingly would have had some traction and action in relation to addressing the issue. Then we start hearing, well, nobody consulted with me. It seems as if the figures are not necessarily correct. And we would have been looking at this document. We missed some cabinet meetings that we could have discussed it, but we didn't. But we are supposed to finally set it up and have some discussions about it. And that would have been, because I am certain that I think the Prime Minister would have said he got the document back, whether it's January or February or something thereabout. He would have handed it to...
I don't tell you a long time ago, Them man play games, you were making an excuse for them. So you come out again, excuse you make this and one to nothing. Can't know that I can say. They're just playing games, virgin. Them man in the same, them man drink out the same cup. Them man travel together. We tell them man now using all these things, virgin. We're talking about. They're just playing the people for soccer. That's what they're doing. They know.
So then, if that's the case, why is it that they are so effective at capturing the people still and suck them in? Then are they playing them
Because
as a soccer?
they understand human behavior, they understand psychology, my virgin, they understand sociology, they understand the way of human being behave. They know their people. These people playing mind games, my virgin. These people convince you until and your horse paint blue until your horse white. And you'll say, boy, the horse white, he trade all the time, it the horse blue. Oh my goodness, the man open up my eyes, show me the horse white. And you will say the horse white. You see, you'll laugh because I've been in a situation in business places where you see 5 grown men they're having conversation and saying, boy, if this man tell me the wall here blue and the wall white, you know, the man punk on the wall, you know, by the wall blue, it show. So, but when I say this thing, you don't think a joke when I say so. That's just all the time. They will tell you the jars blue, the jars green. These people serious with this thing, you know. They don't care what you and me say, you know. So I understand this fever, this Kool-Aid fever. So I'm not try to. My thing is not to persuade about it. My thing is to give the information, my virgin. That's our job is to give the information. When I come on your farmer's extension officer, I'm not there to have a war with you. I'm there to give you information and to help you. Me and you not on a long debate. You understand? That is not my job. You don't have to agree with nothing I say. Whatever I say, you go and research it. You take up your phone and you Google it, or you just speak into the phone, and if the information will come up. Nobody's supposed to fool nobody in these times, my virgin. This ain't the time when I in high school, me and all my friends and them have to go to the library and fight for one biology book and encyclopedia to do with homework and after something, then go along, write out the information, go along home, try to write it up, go back to school early and compare notes and after something. This now, no, I mean, that's not, we're in a different time now. But people still now use the technology to benefit themselves. They spend more time on this phone here doing just entertainment because it's entertainment for them. I use it differently. You see? So it's up to each individual to, you see, can you see the brain? I feed knowledge inside here, you know. You see? I feed knowledge. I don't accept mediocrity in my brain. So when all these guys get on the radio speak, I speak. Me just filter out them things in the trash. Them just list in a virgin, but then I register. I know what to filter out. When you read it, you have to know to filter things and gather information. Because most of these things are just fillers. Just like reading a book. You have to read different areas to find what it. Because most of it is just a lot of fillers. All the cloud was this and tranquility and that. Fillers. That don't have nothing to do with nothing. It's just like a movie. They show you different scenes and boom, boom, boom before you come to talking and just fillers. It's the same thing with information. You have to know to seek and pull information. So when the highfalutin, I ain't taking on any things there. I go move around and come back. Oh, when somebody hit you, okay, oh, I got you right the way yesterday. And that's how it is. You pull the points. These guys have mastered the art of it's something named cannery. And that cannery was thinking of canning people there. Let me say canning, not cannery. Canning. They have mastered it. And they use their suits and everything and arc and angle and button up and button down and this, all of the part of it, you know. It's a charade, you know, my virgin. Oh.
You know, Bankie, as you said that, right? We're going to wrap up at 10:30, right? So
Yes.
this point here I'm going to drop in before we get into our closing statements and so on. As you're talking about canning and so on. You know, recently we would have seen all of the fanfare and so on in relation to the visit of the son of Marcus Garvey and St. Kitts. And he would have, I think one of the days, he came to Nevis, but only met with the Premier, I think, and his wife, and had some sort of interesting discussion according to the Premier. He was not given the opportunity to speak to the Nevisian public and so on and so forth. However, Sunday was Marcus Garvey Earth Strong. So we had all of these wonderful photo ops and government official involvement and talking all of these fancy things about Marcus Garvey's son and his visit to St. Kitts. But here is it that the man himself, what do we do in terms of commemorating or celebrating the achievements and the contributions that were made by the man himself? What are we doing in terms of seeking to live out those sorts of things? Now, seemingly, at the end of the day, it's only Rastafari and some of the Pan-Africanists, so to speak, who would seek to recognize these kind of dates and have activities surrounding these dates. So I think on Sunday, the ORU, I think, would have had an event organized on St. Kitts in relation to celebrating the 130th, I think, Earth Strong of Marcus Garvey. And I am saying this because, to me, and I keep saying that a lot of these things sometimes is just the photo ops and using the opportunity to get some sort of international recognition and so on, because it's going to be all in the media and so on, that Marcus Garvey's son visited St. Kitts and all that and all that. But what, in terms of the reality, in terms of actually seeking to empower our people to learn about Marcus Garvey? Is there a subject in school taught on Marcus Garvey? Is the philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey one of the textbooks that's taught in our school systems? How serious are we in terms of really recognizing and holding on to the visions and missions of Marcus Garvey within these times? Will there actually be any work done in terms of that building, the MIS or the MIA building that is on St. Kitts, where Marcus Garvey had his meetings and so on? Will that be renovated, and will they have yes, I see the book, Philosophies and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, yes. Will they renovate it and have some of the speeches that he made on St. Kitts, highlighted in there so that people can go and see and read for themselves the utterances of Marcus Garvey when he came to St. Kitts and what he said and so on? Then the other thing is, there is the story about Marcus Garvey actually being born on St. Kitts. I don't know if that was a part of the discussion when his son was here. And I don't know how much is done in terms of seeking to follow up on that story and so on. And like I said, if we're ever really going to have a time when these things are commemorated and celebrated from the official side and not just only Rastafari pushing these things. We see the evidence in relation to the Buckley's Uprising. Every year, it's only the Rastafari community and Rastafari brothers and sisters who seek to keep up that thing. Yes, government officials are invited and so on to have a speech and so on, just like how they're invited for African Liberation Day. Again, another event that is kept up by Rastafari. They promised to build some sort of memorial or something at the Buckley's Uprising site, and this has been said for many years. But then these seem like things that, like I said, 9 days you come and you talk these things, and then after that, nothing again. So we might not hear nothing again until the next time to celebrate or commemorate the Buckley's Uprising. As we get in closer again to independence, I'm going to shift again to talk about Joseph Nathaniel France, who is another national hero, who is a Navy Jean, who don't get any recognition, so to speak, around independence time. And
Yahsonn, all the members in St. Kitts in Parliament have is from Nevis. All them, the parents are from Nevis. They have family members from Nevis. All of them, half of St. Kitts are Nevis Jeans, Kitty shows are
yes,
Nevis Jeans. That's the reality. But then, it seems like they just denounce Nevis. I don't understand it. Why they treat Nevis like that. I just can't figure it out. But I just can't figure. That's the whole point.
Conway's parent is from Nevis, his mother,
Yes.
Marsha Henderson or Hendrickson, her father is from Nevis. So as you speak, as you're saying it for real,
Well, I know that long time as your son. I don't analyze
here's
everything long time.
here is it, Bankie. I am hearing that part about the St. Kitts, but even in St. Kitts, he's not giving the recognition either, because let's face it, the 16th of September is recognized as National Heroes Day. One of the reasons why it is commemorated or celebrated is because Bratcher was born on that same day. But Joseph and France is born on the 16th of September as well. And nobody hear nothing about that either. Nobody here. So even on St. Kitts, he's not given the recognition. So my thing is, okay, he's not getting given the recognition on St. Kitts, but he's from Nevis. But Nevisians on a whole don't commemorate anything with him either. We hear about Simeon Daniel, I'm sure a lot of the times, because I've heard even official members saying that Nevis only have one national.
So I'm the fisherman and the gardener, you understand? And the person in the shop, in the mama shop, pop store, they can be national hero too?
But yeah, they can be. And they should be.
Well, that's the whole point.
We need to get to that point where we honor some of those politicians. But I was just looking at the fact that here we have another,
of course,
and is not given the sort of recognition. And I think as we move forward to independence this year, I would hope that those who are at the helm could do a bit more, and we as a people too can do a bit more in terms of pushing, Joseph and France. I will do my part, because I've been doing this for a number of years, for the past couple of years, trying to put him on the agenda.
How come they don't make Vance a national hero yet? And he dead on the job. Vance job, you know?
I don't know.
He died on the job. He was still working in the unity government when he died. He died on the job.
I think
he never retired at the time.
I think those are things you have to send in recommendations for. So I think it's a process.
How can they do it? Well,
I don't know.
What me say, right? His people and them that he amongst his colleague and all of them. Well, how come they don't see it? Because all of them in the same boat. Remember, I'm only saying that because only politician can be national hero. Soon probably might be one. You understand? The guy Bamin done transition. Bamin still around. He had passed on.
I think he had passed.
Exactly. Yes. He can be one too. So I'm just saying, can you see the only politician gonna be national heroes, my virgin? Around here.
Well, my brother,
that's what it is.
I just wanted to bring that to the fore so that we can look at that as well. That we do have two national heroes, and
so I'm to will it. So I'm to will it. What he have done.
Recommendation.
And Derek Parry and all these guys is cricket and Keith Atherton and Stewart. We're not have transition. You just put a picture on a wall, and that is enough. That is not enough, my virgin. That is not enough for Narco.
Here's what I'm saying.
I mean,
we have two already. We have two, and Nevis don't really celebrate any of the two. When independence come around, we don't celebrate independence in Nevis, So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So even though you're suggesting
independence. No, you try that. We celebrate. Yes, you go down the War Memorial. You go down the War Memorial Square. Yeah.
And the what?
You mean what?
National Hero?
Yeah. For World War. You're talking about.
We're at that point where we're gonna wrap up. I think we have kept up Ira and the rest of the team a bit late.
Yes.
However,
before we go, let me say Friday coming up, we will be having a guest from the CEO from the Cannabis Authority from St. Vincent to come on and have some discussion. And it should be the fourth cannabis. So you're gonna come on and we have an interview with him and just what St. Vincent is doing and stuff like that when it comes to this and what St. Kitts and Nevis have fallen apart. I think we only have had one cannabis at the Marriott. Well, Garfield Alexander was the CEO and nothing else had ever come out have kept since that. So you see the ball have dropped way off since Garfield have left. So definitely tune in, spread the word, and we can promote that. All right.
Yeah, man. Well, all right, people, give thanks. It was a pleasure being with you for another edition of Topics here on Real Entertainment Network. We want to encourage you to hop on over to our YouTube platform, subscribe, like, and share. We want to thank all those who participated and who stayed up and, be with us. You could have been doing anything, many other things, but you have stuck and stay with us. And, even after that long edition of Real Talk, people still stayed on the platform and still log into another edition of the topic. So we want to thank you all for the contribution and for giving us, your time and energy and support. We want to welcome you again next week, Tuesday, to another edition of the Topics here on Real Entertainment Network. And we look forward to Friday when we have that exclusive edition in relation to cannabis, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent, and, what's going on in St. Vincent versus what's going on in St. Kitts and Nevis. And we really want to look forward to engaging the masses in that discussion. So, folks, we're letting you know early. We probably will put out a flyer sometime, later on in the week so that people can, we can post it and people can be prepared and ready for it. Until then, Ira, Reese, Alan, Chev, and all of the others of the Real Entertainment Network team, we really want to thank you guys for the serious efforts that you guys, and contribution and time and everything that you guys put in to really make this a reality. We definitely want to give you guys thanks. So next Tuesday or Friday coming, much love everybody, guidance and I take care.